Oi! Steven Tyler from Aerosmith asks Donald Trump, please stop using my song. When all the world asks Donald Trump, please stop breathing. During the tour, the petitions of the Rolling Stones in their caterings include sealed windows, a 24-hour butler, and a very explained written instruction of how can they use all the electronic devices in the room. God, I love when jokes are written by themselves. Monday was Columbus Day. If you're not familiar with this, let me explain. It's a day when we celebrate how the Europeans came to America, took our women, stole our land, and gave us diseases we never knew they existed. But they gave us pizza, porn, and Emma Watson, so let's call it even, right? Yo soy Chumel Torres and this is El Pulso. Amigos, there can't be Superman without Lex Luthor. There can't be X-Men without Magneto. There can't be Aquaman without... Nobody knows. No one reads Aquaman. I think what I'm trying to say is that there is no good without evil. In that regard, there can be no serious politics without Donald Trump. Amigos, I'll say it again. Donald Trump is like the Kardashians. They suck, but they're everywhere. So sooner or later, you'll end up hearing something from them. So that's why in El Pulso we decided to create a new section, Trump versus the world. This time, Trump versus Aerosmith. That's right, last week Aerosmith's lead singer and Muppet version of himself, Steven Tyler, who is a registered Republican, asked Trump to stop playing Dream On in his rallies, but only for copyright purposes. Yeah, sure, copyright purposes. Steven, we all know that even if you're a Republican, you still know this guy's a joke. And it's such a good song, Tyler. Just say it like it is. You are embarrassed by Trump and you don't want him to play your song because you do not endorse him. Even if you are a Republican, there's a lot of Republicans who feel the same way you do. Those are Republicans with something called as self-respect. In another take we have Donald versus the refugees. Yes, as you hear it, we're all seeing those heartbreaking images of entire families running away from the horrors of war, losing everything they had back home, risking their children's lives because staying represents an even higher danger. Well, Trump is against that as well. Trump warns Syrian refugees could be ISIS Trojan horse in the US. Yes, he actually said this. Even blasts Angela Merkel for opening up Germany to as many as 1 million refugees. In his own words, I thought Merkel was a great leader. What she's done in Germany is insane. You know, guys, this is something else. I mean, we can't be serious about this asshole, you feel me? Let me explain. Every time Trump says something, every newspaper calls him and he's back in the spotlight again. He is just like Kanye West. They're making everything about themselves because everyone else is boring. So that is why Obama said that he can hardly win, because we all know this guy's a joke. The dangerous thing about this is that we are listening to a joke far too long that we'll lose precious time we could use hearing what the other guys had to say. Those who are really going for it. Those are the ones we should be afraid about. You see, Trump is not going to shut the fuck up, and we know that. He is saying bullshit. He knows this. He's a smart guy. The sad part is when people is starting to believe this bullshit and to support it, because there's just something worse than an idiot. And those are the ones who follow him. Watch it. Regresamos. This is the Flash! Amigos, emergency calls. Something that can save your life, but if not used wisely, can get you into more trouble. That was exactly what happened to Patrick Duggett, a 53-year-old African-American who called 911 claiming he couldn't get any sweet love from his girlfriend. That's right, we feel you, bro. Sex is an emergency. But I think 911 hasn't released its booty call service yet. Or has it? Well, certainly not, because instead of love, all he got from the officers was hate and misunderstanding. So, to poor guy Patrick, calling 911 was like calling his ex-wife. According to the police report, Duggett was arrested for public drunkenness after he allegedly called 911 to complain that his girlfriend would not give him any ass. Those were his exact words. Any ass. When the officers arrived at his house, he was outside drinking alcohol and told the police he had been drinking all day and was looking forward to have sex with his girlfriend. Two things. He was being super honest and describing my whole weekend. Apparently, his girlfriend declined this tempting offer because her grandchild was with her. As always, little brat spoiling the fun. That, of course, upset Doggett, so he called 911 to help him deal with this issue. To this point, we're not sure if it was to deal with the child or the refusing grandma. And yes, this hero was arrested for public drunkenness, which he was, that's alright, but not charged with misusing the 911 system, cause God is good and he knows this was a real emergency. You see, 911 rules are not quite clear. In fact, the only thing we know is this. You call 911 when there is an emergency. Well, to us, running out of beer during a show can be an emergency. Unfortunately, here in Mexico, we don't have 911 service. Thank you, Mexican government. But we can take a quick look to what in the US FA think of as an emergency. For example, Travis J. Turner called 911 to report he was having difficulty breathing. But when the police responded, he told them that he was fine and that he was having problems with his air conditioning and asked for help fixing it. He's right. People die of heat, you know. Darío Gutierrez called 911 and reported a fake car crash because he wanted a ride back home. In your face, Uber! Then a 60-year-old in Florida called 911 8 times in 2 hours to complain that he had food but not refrigerator. Well, if you think about it, food can get spoiled and turn dangerous, so he was preventing poisoning, bro. A man in Montana called the police claiming that he did not get the sex act he requested as part of his $350 private dance. Officers informed him asking an exotic dancer for sexual gratification is illegal and put him in jail for solicitation of prostitution. You see? He also wanted just a little love, but according to the US law, it is forbidden to give people love and understanding. Thank God for these heroes. A Florida man called 911 to report his wife had thrown out his beer. This poor guy was preventing two things: dying of thirst and killing the wife. 2 crimes solved. Thanks, Mr. Hero. So, my friends, next time you're in serious trouble, think twice before calling 911, because emergency is so subjective nowadays that you can end up like our poor friend Patrick, with no booze, no love, and certainly not booty at all. Amigos, Oklahoma. Famous for Chuck Norris, the flaming lips, tornadoes, or Chuck Norris sneezes, and this giant bottle of milk. Well, this week was the... Damn, there's really nothing in Oklahoma and I can't make my reglamentary intro joke about your city. Sorry, Okies. Can you just pretend I said something funny? There are 21 states with death penalty and Oklahoma is one of them. And right now, all the executions are on hold. What do? They realize that capital punishment does not actually achieve the reformation of the inmate. Neither decreases crime in the city, but only provides a painful and shameless threat against human rights. Just kidding, they did it because the state was using the wrong drug in the lethal injection. In recent investigations, Oklahoma Corrections Department records show officials used the wrong drug during Charles Warner's execution in January. They were supposed to use potassium chloride, but pumped potassium acetate instead. And this causes the inmate's death. Yes, sir, your mistake killed him. Potassium chloride, which stops the heart, is the final drug in the state's protocol following an anesthetic and a muscle relaxant. On the other hand, potassium acetate is used for other stuff such as fire extinguishers, diabetes treatment, mummification, and to make mayonnaise. Yes, everything indicates Oklahoma was trying to make a sandwich out of Charles Warner. As Warner was executed, he complained about pain, saying, "My body is on fire, no one should go through this." The last minutes of death row were a living hell, making it one of the most horrible ways to die. Robert Patton, director of the Oklahoma Department of Corrections, told reporters last week that the provider of these drugs said potassium acetate and potassium chloride are medically interchangeable, just like changing a slap for a kick in the balls. As we mentioned before, all executions were suspended, including the penalty of Richard Glossip. That was scheduled by the end of September, giving him more time to review new evidence in his case. Mr. Glossip, I'm glad to inform you that your execution has been suspended. Oh, thank God. But instead, you're gonna watch all these episodes of Sábado Gigante. No! Please no! Give me an injection! I'll do it myself! I don't care if it's potassium acetate or Tabasco sauce. Just anything but Don Francisco, please! From El Pulso, we hope Oklahoma uses this time to think about better ways to give proper reformation to the inmates. instead of injecting antifreeze to them. Yes, potassium acetate is used in antifreeze too. Amigos, we've been talking a lot about the presidential election during our first season in El Pulso. We've seen how the candidates start to step aside and only 2 will be the chosen ones that will arrive to the ballot of November. But surprisingly, there is a new contender. One that the Avengers were pretty sure they defeated. One that even Mufasa is terrified to mention. One that makes Darth Vader look like a simple Ewok. We're talking about Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. The latest presidential candidate, according to another candidate, Ben Carson. Yes, Ben Carson likes to talk about Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. A lot. The retired neurosurgeon and GOP frontrunner is attempting to send a clear message to his supporters. Nazi Germany can happen in America. At a campaign event in New Hampshire, Carson noted that many people believe a situation like what took place in Germany in the 1930s and 1940s could never happen in America. I beg to differ, Carson said. If you go back and look at the history of the world, tyranny and despotism, and how it starts, it has a lot to do with control of thought and control of speech. Even when Carson said to CNN, if Germans had guns, Hitler's chances of successful genocide would have been greatly diminished. Really? Recently, the Washington Post identified at least 12 moments of Carson's campaign where he uses the Nazis as a reference. Just an example, Carson said that if Americans read Mein Kampf, Hitler's manifesto, they can easily draw their own parallels about the nations we live in and the German Nazi. From El Pulso studio, we suggest to Ben Carson that he should rethink his campaign and look for another reference. But be careful because there are references already occupied. Trump has the Latinos, Hillary has the women. Have you thought about YouTubers? Regresamos. My dear friends, the Speaker of the House, the only job in which your job description requires the ability to speak, last week was the shark in the news tornado. As you may know, spoiler, you probably won't, the Speaker of the House is a very important figure in the Congress and the House of Representatives. Whoever is in this chair has the chance to become president if the president and vice president are gone. That's like being the third better option for someone. It's like when the hot girl chooses you to go to the prom with because the handsome rebel and the handsome nerd with future didn't want to. Yes, I'm talking to you, Carolina. The Speaker of the House is a very important spot in the Congress. This guy is responsible of negotiating with the other party, get the shit together for both wings, and most of all, try to screw whatever Obama wants to do. And that's the main reason why John Boehner decided to retire. The Republicans kind of pressured him for his incapability to block Obamacare or to deal with Iran. He just got tired. Just look at his smiley face when he arrived to quit.
Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. My, oh my, what a wonderful day. I used to sing that on my way to work in the morning.
I don't want this fucking job. Everybody fuck yourself. That's the kind of smile you have when your girlfriend tells you she's not pregnant, or that those scratches in your arm are from your dog and not from the guy in the hoodie with the Reaper under your bed. Everyone assumed House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy will move up a notch and Boehner will pass the baton. But just as they have made every election an ideological battle for the last 4 years, the Tea Party isn't about to make things easy, or funny, or easy to watch at least. Also, they have something called the Freedom Caucus, a loosely affiliated group of about 40 of the House's most conservative members, a group of old, hard, ultra-conservative men that I could describe as the evil society of fathers-in-law. Welcome, members of the society. The first thing in the agenda is why Brian looks like a moron and how to push him away from my daughter Karen. Gentlemen, what do you suggest? We can put drugs in his backpack. Come on, Dick Cheney, we're being serious here. So am I. You know that could work. Okay, next thing. The four-term congressman and second-ranking Republican in the House surprised everyone on Thursday by dropping out of the race to succeed Boehner. The House Freedom Caucus announced Wednesday it would support Representative Daniel Webster of Florida for Speaker, casting doubt on whether McCarthy could get the 218 floor votes he would have needed to be elected later this month. McCarthy, the immediate favorite for Speaker, reportedly told members that he is not the right person for the job. So everyone is looking for Paul Ryan, current pre-candidate for president. But there's a little detail. He doesn't want the fucking job. In fact, no one wants it.
I think we're only going to be stronger. We fought hard to win this majority and turn this country around. And this will be a best footstep for...
The job that could be a career launcher in politics to anyone is locked by the Association of Uncles in Oklahoma. And it seems that nobody wants the job. But the Constitution contemplates that anyone could be Speaker of the House, even if he or she is not a member of the House. So, in El Pulso, we propose Hulk Hogan, of course, Machete, the Mexican Hulk Hogan, or just this inert carbon bar. Hail the inert carbon bar, dude! All this mess could have gross consequences in the next months, like the shutdown of Congress or another shutdown for the government. So this is a message for the House. Do you want someone who can deal with ultra-conservative men and always win? Do you want someone who they would like and give him their trust? Well, here I am. I am the father-in-law master. The one who once dated a pastor's daughter and made them both happy. You know, you just need to call. Are we waiting? Regresamos. And that's it for us. My name is Chumel Torres and this is El Pulso. Your subscription and thumbs up are greatly appreciated. I'm gone, but before I go, I would like to remind you, like every week, los amo, stupids. Thanks for watching.